It's Monday at 1 o'clock, and welcome to the Mary D. Welch Show.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi. We're back again for a wonderful, wonderful Monday. And I'm always honored to be here. I'm always honored that you're here, that you're taking time out to enjoy us on this Monday afternoon. And it's a beautiful Monday afternoon here in Southern California. So if you're not in Southern California, I hope everything's still wonderful in wherever you are in the world. I'd like to tell you who we're having on today. We have a San Bernardino councilman, newly elected. His name is Damon Alexander, and he is going to be the guest on our show today. Here we're going to have Damon.
Hey, Miss Mary D, how are you?
I'm fine. Welcome to the show. We're so honored to have you here. And you are, let me say, newly elected. So you haven't even been sworn in yet, have you?
No, not yet. That's why I'm councilman-elect, but get sworn in on December 16th, 5 p.m. I am super excited. You know, I'm grinning from ear to ear. We're almost home.
Well, this is, it's like anything else. Even though your position, any position that you're running for that's elected, it's a race. You're battling. You have an opponent, but then you're still out telling people why they should elect you. So let's talk to the audience. Why do you feel that the community elected you to that position?
Well, it was a 65 to 35% win for us. It was right. It was an overwhelming win. It wasn't, 10, 15 votes. It wasn't a nail biter. We call it a mandate vote. When you win by that, the voters are telling you that they believe in you. They believe in your message and that they want change. And you not only change, but they want action, Mary D. They want someone that has exhibited a history, which I do, of action, and so we're about call to action. I always say, no, it's great to talk about it, but you have to be about it. We can Zoom. We have been on all these Zoom calls and we talk, and more talk. But we got to be like the Lord. And then, believe it or not, the Lord was about action. If you read the Old Testament, and I don't mean to be all that, but I do have a master's in theology, so get ready.
All right. Okay.
The Lord was about action. Jericho marched around the walls. They blew the trumpets, and then they didn't. You pray, but then you go into battle with action.
Right.
This was like that. This is about action. So
I can tell you, it's impressive. Because I think we spoke earlier. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to definitely say this. You said that people told you couldn't do it.
Yes. I got a couple of phone calls from the quote powers that be that run the 7th Ward and possibly the city that said, "Hey, you're a nice guy, Damon. You're the typical. You're smart, articulate, but an African American would never be a council person in the 7th Ward." And I got that from more than one phone call. All that did was just fire me up.
Yeah,
that's all that did.
That gave you fuel. That's what they did. The mandate. You know how sometimes, I know for me too, when people tell you what you can't do, that makes you even more determined to do it.
Absolutely, and it should.
Yeah, I know. It did for me. Well, I know too. Let's go into some of your background, because you didn't always go into politics. Where were you raised, born? All those things people like to know about you.
That's probably pretty boring. I grew up in Pasadena, California. The home of the City of the Roses, as we call it back then. Mm-hmm. We still call it City of the Roses. I went to high school there. I went to private school there, and then I left. Did a little tour with the finest fighting force on earth, the United States Marine Corps. Then I went to college, and and the rest is pretty much history. Then I moved out to San Bernardino and been out in Purdue, Yeah.
Okay.
Been out
As they
in
call it.
Purdue.
Right.
Right. Purdue ever since. So,
Okay. But you have a wife and children and grand.
yes. I'm on my second marriage. I do have three children. They went to school here in Purdue. They're
Oh,
own Cowboys and one Pacific Pirate. Uh, so there you have it. You know,
okay.
and I just got a newly. She's 5 months old. My latest grandchild, Avery
Oh.
Grace. We call her the Queen.
Oh.
She was on the campaign trail, Mary D. When she was 3 months old, she was on the campaign trail with Papa Grand. We were out there
Oh.
campaigning together.
I love it.
Teach them early.
And
Teach them
those
early.
are things. You take pictures like that, they'll never forget that. They
Oh
even
yeah,
they're not there, they're old enough to know, but they'll see those pictures where they're a part of it. They were still, included. They weren't excluded from what's going on. I know too, like you said, you said to master's in theology, did you say?
yes.
Okay. So
Sacramento Theological Seminary. I went there.
are you in the ministry?
No, I am not in the ministry.
Okay.
I used to be a deacon at Temple Missionary Baptist Church under leadership of Raymond Turner. I used to be chairman of the deacon board over there, but that
Okay.
has changed. Times change.
Correct. I understand.
Now I go. My wife and I go to New Hope Missionary Baptist Church under Dr. Michael Owens and the lovely First Lady of Lisa.
All
So
right.
we can't wait to get back to church. Zoom is killing me.
I know. I think, well, this is what I think, what we are in right now. This is a reset for us. Unfortunately, during this time, the loss of life has been so great. That's the biggest hurt, as far as I'm concerned, with all of this. But it's giving people a chance to do what many people never had a chance to do, and that's stay home. Because normally we're running and racing and going from this to that and everything. And when I can go in a Zoom meeting, I go from one meeting to the next, and I'm still sitting in the same. I kind of like it. I'm not opposed to Zoom. I can tell you that right now.
Wow. I guess I need that contact. I guess I'm a touch feel type person. I guess I need that interaction. So I miss my brothers and sisters at New Hope and elsewhere around the city and the country. Just not seeing them and giving them a hug, because the power of a hug, Mary D, is powerful.
It
And we miss that. At least I miss that. You never know what that hug could do to somebody to get them from one point to the next point.
is. Oh no, I'm not saying I don't get me wrong. I miss I miss the hugs. I miss all of that. I'm just saying, as far what I probably have done is have too much on my plate because too many, meetings and commitments. But I used to say I'm meeting myself at the door because I would be from here to there. So that's what I mean. But no, I miss everybody. In fact, there was a dedication down about a month ago, and even though COVID's going on, we all had on masks, but people still hug. We missed it we missed each other so much. We were still hugging each other. So I understand completely when you said, "Oh no, I definitely miss that affection." Who can get enough of that?
Right.
Like you said, from your church family and everything. But your background is is it in law enforcement?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I spent 29 years with the United States Department of Justice and with the INS and with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives as a special agent with the Justice.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a very varied background, really. I mean, you think about the military, but you do have some theology. Then you have the background in law enforcement. All of this put together has made you the candidate that you are for the city council. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. It gives me a unique perspective and how we can all come together and work together, because all those particular experiences
Mm-hmm.
is all based around one thing: working together. Always based around one thing: working together.
Well, I know too. You started the organization for the Inland Empire, the 100 Black Men. You're the founder, I believe, the founder and
Right.
president of the 100 Black Men. And I've actually been to some of your functions. That's my husband and I. We went to your dinner. I believe it was at the Mission Inn.
Yes.
We were there at the last one, and it was very, very well attended, very, very classy function. And I will tell you that the work that you're doing in the community is just outstanding. So don't stop, please. So I know you guys have, I think all of us do. We have our work cut out for us, and it is truly the grassroots that makes the difference. I know people look to Washington, but it really is the people in your neighborhood, your next door neighbors. All those, these are the people who are going to make the difference in our children's lives.
Yes.
And so I would definitely, I applaud your efforts. You start the 100 Black Men. There was another organization. Did you found the organization?
No, that's the only one, the 100 Black Men of the Inland Empire. That's the one that we got started. It was a great April 22nd, 2015. We did a fantastic job of, once again, it's collaboration. I may have been sitting in church when I'm like, we need to do this out here in the IE. I was sitting in church, right, and I called upon, my friends who are doers, not talkers.
Right.
And we got together at the American Legion Post 14, and I laid out a strategic plan of how we can help our African American young men move forward, because that is the center point for me. Right. Is our African American young men, because I always say, who's going to marry my daughter? Who's going to marry my daughter? You know what I mean?
That's
Who's going to marry my daughter? I have to train up. It's my responsibility. Scripture says, "To much is given, much is required." That's what Scripture says, right?
That's right.
So not only do I owe, Mary D, we all owe. You're sitting up here and you're doing what you do best, and I'm proud of you. And you're doing a great job. You and Brian, you guys are all doing a great job. And what you do, I'm going to stay out your lane and let you flourish. And if I can do anything to help you, I say it now, not at the end, but now, anything I can do, I'm here for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, just your being on the show, like I said, all I did was make a phone call and you're like, yep, I'm there. So that is support. People don't realize support comes in all different kinds of ways. It doesn't just come one way, but your support, it really does. It touches my heart. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Now, I understand you're a part of the Divine Nine.
Yes. I crossed in the spring of '85, the Divine Nine of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And those brothers, the bros, as they say now. I'm old. we didn't call ourselves that way back then, but
okay,
the bros, as they say now. It's a great fraternity. The brotherhood is nationwide, international wide. Once again, working together to try to make our lives better as African Americans is what Omega is all about, as well as the 100. We're all trying to make our lives better. And that's what we have to do. And belonging to these organizations, each has their unique perspective. They're not the same. They have their unique perspective. The 100 specifically deals with young men. That's it. Young men. We have a Saturday Academy at Cal Baptist, which we deal with the young men, and that is important because we have to teach them. If they're absent, a father's absent in their family. We have to teach them. It falls upon us to teach.
Oh, that's the message. God bless you, Damon. It went by too fast. Oh, it says, God bless you for Councilman Damon Alexander. We appreciate your vision. Thank you, Sister Welch, for your platform to uplift God's people. Thank you. That's so nice of you.
Beautiful.
And Alice came on too.
Yes.
She said, well, I will tell you, everything. Oh, thank you, Alice.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Alice is like my mom. I've known Alice since I was a very, very, very young man. And Alice and my sister Janine is, and Mom tells Janine I said hi. Now you may go ahead. I have to do what's right by Mom first. So there you go.
Oh, you got to do that. You gotta have those shout outs, because then they'll be like, you forgot to say something, that's all part of it. I totally, and I really should, I should be shouting my kids out. It's so funny though, because I'll ask them, I say, did you see the show? And they're like, no, Mom, we know you. We don't see. We don't worry about that. But anyway, I would like to tell you, I'm not a part of the Divine Nine, but we have a son, he's a Kappa. And so he's really involved. He was the president of the Panhellenic, and that's how, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this was our. I call all of my sons number one sons. I don't want anyone to feel any less than the oldest one, so they're all number one sons. But that number one son is a Kappa. So
all right. I'm sorry. There have to be Kappas in the world too.
I knew you was gonna say that.
There have to be Kappas in the world too.
I say that because he really has shown me though, and I think I only reason I think I didn't pledge, because I'm a UCR grad. It was because I was also a female in the sports. And when you're in sports, if you're not practicing, you're at a game. And so during that time, it just didn't work in my schedule to pledge and do all those things I said. So I think I must have missed out. So, but it's still, I honor any activities. I try to, support when I know that you guys are doing things. So I really encourage anyone that's interested in becoming Greek to join. I definitely do. So
I do. Of course, my Omega brothers. I always want to shout out that every great man is an Omega man, except for a two or three out there that aren't Omega man. But every great man is an Omega man. So I just want to give that shout out to all the rest of the Divine Nine. They have my heart. When you get at this age, it's all about making. I keep saying forging relationships and moving us forward. I keep saying the same thing. I must sound like a broken record, but it's the call to action. And I'm going to say it, Mary D, until you put me in my box, that we continue to move forward and a call of action. We can't not move forward. And everybody has their road to move us forward. So whatever that road is for you, I am here to help and try to move us forward together.
Well, I know too, right now we're dealing with some things politically, and people are, I don't want to start taking sides on that. I look at everybody, you can vote. I always say vote for whoever you want to vote for, but vote. That's my thing. And at the same time, what's going on in Georgia is very near and dear to what it's a battleground, I guess you could say, what's being forged. And I was just in a meeting earlier, and the number one thing someone mentioned was, you can do all the talking you want, but how many of you are talking with your pocketbook? How many people are writing checks? And they didn't even say what side. They said, are you supporting whoever you would like to win down in Georgia? And I said, like, just as people did when the presidential election was going on. So that's what like you said, whatever you can do that. And I think what it is, it doesn't matter that it's big or small. It's just do something that's going to help society. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. We have to be engaged. And when we were out there canvassing, and I tell this story and I'll make it quick because it's the one that really touches my heart. I was knocking on a door and I asked for this young lady, and I knocked on her door. Her last name is Mrs. Brown. I will never forget her. Mrs. Brown, she's an African-American lady. And I go, hey, she's a 5 for 5. That means she votes all the time. So I said, hey, I'm here for Mrs. Brown. She's like, who are you? And I go, I'm Damon Alexander. I'm running to be your next city councilman. She takes the literature from my hand. She looks at it. She goes, that's you. That's you. You came to knock on my door and ask for my vote for city council? I said, yes, Miss Brown, I did. She shouts from the balcony of her apartment complex, hey, Judy, this is Mr. Alexander. He came way out here to ask for our vote. We're going to vote for this man. It was so beautiful because she goes, you're going to represent us. I go, yes, Miss Brown, I am going to represent you. I am going to represent you. And that's why I run it, to represent people like Miss Brown. You have no idea how that touches my heart then and still today. That's one of the reasons why I ran for the Mrs. Browns for them. It's important.
It is.
It's important.
Many times they're the voiceless. People,
right.
They want their vote, but that's it. And then you never see her, they go to city council and do whatever they want to do or whatever they're running for. But she's saying you came to her door, to knock on her door, and how much, really what she's saying is what that meant to her.
Mm-hmm.
That you would care enough to
right.
come and then to say, I'm going to be there for you. When I vote on that city council, when there's votes, you're who I'm thinking of when I make that vote. You're who I represent. That's big.
Yeah, it is. And it's special to me. And I take that oath when I take it on the 16th of December. I take that seriously, very seriously, along with all the other oaths I've taken in the Marines and as a special agent with the Justice Department, along with those oaths as well. I didn't give up those oaths just because I stopped wearing a uniform or just because I stopped being a federal agent. I didn't give up those oaths. I still carry those oaths with me. And when I take it on the 16th, Mary D, it's just another one to put in my pocket and to carry it along with me.
That's a blessing, because they're just, you telling me that story is, those kind of stories resonate in us, and then for her to yell to her friend and
that's true. She did from the top of the balcony. Hey, Judy.
Because you'll never forget that. You'll never forget that. I tell you, it's one thing to run. It's another thing to run and win. This was your first time running?
No, it wasn't. I ran for city council in 2015, and I missed it by 47 votes. So all those out there who say your vote doesn't matter, and I ran into a lot of them. Well, when you miss it by 47 votes, your vote counts. Your vote counts, ladies and gentlemen. 47 in 2015, and this time we won by an overwhelming mandate. Like I said, 65% to 35%. So it counts. Don't think that it doesn't, because it does.
I know someone that won by 3 votes.
Wow.
3 votes. Can you imagine that? So those 3 people, hadn't voted. They won by 3 votes. It's like, this sounds unbelievable, but it can come. That's why they do those recounts.
Right.
Because sometimes they're so close that you never know. Hi, it says we're all Mrs. Browns. I like that. Inoko. Hi there. And hi, Henrietta. I tell you, thank you. The Inoko I've known for years, and that's one of my cousins.
Okay.
That support means so much. They have no idea. But to lose to win an election by 3 tells you 47 mean that they did a recount when you ran then. Am I correct?
No, they didn't. I'm not going to ask for a recount. That means I just have to work harder. That means I just have to work harder. And we worked hard, because it's not an I thing. People think, at least I don't believe, anything that we achieve in life is not about I. Right. It's about we. No man is an island. No woman is an island. Everybody needs somebody else to depend on and lean on and link up with, as we do, my line brothers. We need to link up with and move together. There's an old African proverb: if you want to go someplace fast, go alone. If you want to go someplace far, go together. So let's go together.
Oh yeah, it makes such a difference, and it makes the load lighter. That's really what it is. It's not as heavy if you're trying to do it by yourself. You're carrying the whole entire load. Mm-hmm. So have people with you and helping you, like you said, you lock arms. Everything changes, because now you have momentum and you have that energy and that positive going in the same direction. You can't beat that. As they say, you can't beat a team. You really can't. And like you said, you had the grandbaby out there canvassing with you.
Yes, I did.
Who's going to say no to a grandbaby?
Not as cute as my granddaughter looks. They ain't saying no at all.
But that's what it takes. All of that love and family energy. Because like you said before, you knew what it felt like to lose. And believe it or not, that had so much to do with you winning this time, because you left no stone unturned. You took nothing for granted. You said, this will never happen again. This will never I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power that it doesn't happen again.
Right.
And the door to door. I mean, but now look, on December 16th, you'll be raising your right hand and being sworn in.
Yep,
But
there's so many people to thank. You said you had a lot of people here on WAG. WAG supported us with an endorsement. We thank you, WAG. There's just so many people to thank. We don't have enough time. But if WAG is listening, thank you. The 100, Omega Sci-Fi. There's a lot of people to thank.
okay, thank you, Noko. Success and healing is not a solo act. Together, we are stronger. All right. Thank you, Noko.
Right.
Yeah, as you know, it's not a one-man show. It's not a one-man show. And as you're going forward, what are some of the things that you would like to see in San Bernardino?
We have a myriad of issues that need addressing, but one thing that I would like to see is dealing with the economics of the city. That's one of the pillars of the 100 is economics, because economics drives other issues. Economics drives your health. Because if you're worried about what's going on, or you don't have health coverage because of your job, or you don't have it because of your economic situation, that affects your health. There's nothing worse than an inward or an outward manifestation because of economics. Economics also has to deal with crime. High economic cities that do well, like Rancho and Irvine, they have low crime rates. Right. So we have to work on our economics in this city. We have to work on the homelessness in this city. And we do. We have a plan. Right now it's called Wraparound 360, Pastors United. I called upon Reggie Young and the Pastors United to come with me to set up this plan, a strategic plan with deliverables of how we're going to deal with this transient problem in our city, because it's mental health. Right? It's drug dependency. It's all these issues, more than we have time for. Right. But rest assured, your seventh ward city councilman right here, right now, is working on a plan. We are not talking about it. We are in action.
Okay. And Ms. Inoko is saying crime survivors and safety and justice, Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Inland Empire, permanent jobs, and I didn't catch the last part, permanent jobs with benefits and trauma recovery center. So she's saying that this is all needed. She said, I don't live in San Bernardino, but I definitely put your name out there and your platform. So proud of you and know that you will continue to impact. Thank you, Elaine Wilson.
That's one of our Divine Nine sisters, Miss Wilson.
I know. Divine, I think this lady, I'm going to have Elaine on the show to go over all the things she's doing. Because Elaine is everywhere.
Yes, she is.
And she is definitely impacting our community. So thank you, Elaine, for your impact. We do appreciate you. But this, just like you said, we're talking about homelessness. We're talking about mental health issues. Where you mentioned economics are bringing jobs to San Bernardino. Every single one of those, just one of those issues is humongous. Not just trying to put them all together, just any one. How does a city tackle one of those issues and make a dent in it? And then how do you pick one?
Well,
she said, I try.
You're right. I really did. You have, like anything, like anybody's job, and you learn this in justice, like anything, you need a strategic plan. Everything revolves around plan your work and what? Work your plan. Mm-hmm. There you go, Mary. Do you know it? You know it. That's it. But the problem is we don't write it down. If it's not real until you write it down. At least that's what I was taught. It's not real. We can dream about it. We can daydream. We can talk about it. But until we put it on our laptop or our tablet, wherever you want to put it, scratch it on a piece of paper, write it down. Plan your work. Work your plan. And then we can move forward with some strategic dates and due dates. Okay, what do I want to do first? Okay, I want to call the supervisor to work my wraparound 360 plan for the homeless. Okay, we got to call him and then call them, and we got to get them together. We got to sit down. We got to get our plan of action. It's all about planning your work and working your plan.
Yeah.
We can no longer, even as a people, in this COVID and this, what do I call this? I call this the time where, George Floyd, the 846, and the rebellion that happened afterwards, because words
Right.
matter. Mary D, words matter.
They do.
And I correct anybody who called it a riot, because it wasn't a riot. It was a rebellion, because as my dad said, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yep.
Sick of tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired. I tell you. And
that was a rebellion at hand. And those of us that are like stand back and say, oh wow. I was a guest speaker, and somebody said, well, what should we do next? I said, we need to talk with our European cousins, and we need to have a dialogue. Dialoguing amongst ourselves, Mary D, does us no good. We need to dialogue with our European cousins.
Right.
And we need to have a show where you get there and we have a dialogue with, 6 of our European cousins and 6 of us. And then have an honest conversation, because then that's how you move forward. Because you can ask the questions. Let it be in a safe space.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Hi, Richard. Thank you. You know what it sounds like, because there's a group in Riverside, and I think it's called the Anti-Racists. Is the name. Mm-hmm. And just listen to you now. I'm going to work on trying to bring a group together. It may be 3 and 3, but at least, like you said, to hear the other side. I think what it is that we're assuming how the other side thinks. There's an assumption, or like I've heard people tell me, they say, well, I'm not racist. I've heard people say I'm not racist. But they don't even really know what it is to be racist. So they're thinking they know what it is, but they don't really know, that kind of thing. So you have a lot of misconceptions going on. You have a lot of ideals that people are not saying, but they're in their heads. So they're not getting those out. So I think that's a really good idea. I may work on that in the future, and I think I can have up to 10 people in the room at the same time. And so that could be up to 5 and 5, and that'll be willing to be honest. And that's the hard part, because I think people are sometimes afraid to be honest about how they.
You, Mary D, have to make it a safe space for them to know that they will not be attacked. That's the point. So when you have your platform, put it in a safe spot. You won't be attacked. This is about growing. And you say racist. I see, and remember I said words matter.
Yes.
Well, people aren't racist. People are prejudiced. There's a difference. Right. There's a difference. Because there's only one race on the planet.
It's the human race.
That's correct. Because we can all procreate. That's why there's only one. Ask your biologist. There's only one. There's different ethnicities. There's various cultures. Right. There's just one race.
That's true. You're absolutely right. And people, when you go back historically, that the origins of the race, or the origin is in Africa.
You're correct.
It's been proven time and time again. It's not like it's a big secret. And that is the origin of the human race, of our human beings. So who knows? I mean, this is a subject that it would take. We can do it, but it's going to have, like I said, it has to be an environment where people feel like they can be open and honest with each other. But I'll work on it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem at all. I've learned. I don't have a problem working on it. We're going to take just a second here. We're going to have a 30-second commercial. So,
all right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 30-second commercial. I always try to let you know halfway through the show. It's a little more than halfway through. But for those of you that some of you knew about it, some of you didn't, Riverside is starting its own section of the National Council of Negro Women. And if you're interested in more information, or you're interested in joining, you can send an email to ncnwriverside@gmail.com. ncnwriverside@gmail.com. And someone will answer your email and tell you about how you can join. And that is how you can find out more information. Also, you've seen it scrolling by at the bottom. If you like to get on the texting system and find out every time the show goes live, usually a text message goes out from either myself or somebody on our team. You would text the word show, and then you would text it to the short code 474747. You text the word show to 474747, and you'll be automatically put in the texting system, and you get those text messages. For those of you that like emails, you can send an email. It's Mary, Mary, at firstbookacademy.com. And you send the email there, and you can get on the email list. Okay, that's our commercial. So back to the program. Thank you, each and everybody. But I would also, as I'm listening to you, I'm going to say Councilman, even though you're not sworn in yet. To me, you are, Councilman Alexander.
Councilman-elect.
Okay, Councilman-elect Alexander, what words would you give to other people that would be either interested in politics, maybe not in politics, because whether we're in politics or not, you can still help the community. You don't have to be, I mean, you can be in leadership, but I'm just saying, you just want to do something. What are your words of encouragement to people?
Get engaged. The most important part we can do as African Americans, and I'm going to stick to my ethnicity is African Americans, is get engaged with your politicians, because that's who write the laws. That's who passes out the funding. You wonder why our nonprofits don't get the funding that they should? Because we are not engaged with those who hand out the funding. You gotta be at the table. You gotta be knocking on the door. You mentioned earlier, Mary D, write the check. That's what you said. Write the check. If we're not involved with those who are running for office, because those who are running for office remember those who helped them get there.
Right. Oh yeah,
they remember, because it's such a struggle. It is, especially at the local levels, it is such a struggle to get there that it's like, okay, I remember Mary D, she helped me do this, or she helped phone bank, and then she has a nonprofit. You know, it's not a quick pro quo, but it's just like, I remember.
Right.
You know, I remember. You know, so I would say to everybody, young and old, you know, we have these two-party systems. And this is another topic that I've been, you know, I talk about. I'm like, you know, one party takes for granted and the other party doesn't pay any attention to. You know what? And when you take it for granted, you're like, well, you know, they're going to vote for me regardless. If we were all declined for state, if we were declined the state, if all African Americans as a voting bloc were declined the state, and we make these politicians, what are you going to do for us? What are you going to do?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, instead of taking us for granted, what are you going to do? Because now we're all declined the state. We're in the middle. We may say, oh, well, this guy says, hey, he's going to do this, or this woman says, hey, she's going to do that. Really? Decline the state, unless you're running for office, decline the state I think is the way we should go. They have to vie and work for our vote instead of sitting back and say, well, I know because, you know, Mary D's an African American, she's going to vote this way.
That's true. Well, that's what it was mentioned that people people don't really know too is that African Americans were Republicans for years. People don't know, and then for years, and then became Democrats. It's actual switch, but it's been, but that's historical. And now what I see happening is there's like a movement toward more African Americans becoming more Republicans. And it's been interesting to see that. I'm noticing that's been I can't say it's a big one, but I see it happening slowly, that more and more. So I think what is going on is that taking the African American vote for granted is not going to be as easy. Okay, prejudice, a matter of the heart. Yep, that's what he said. That's all right. Thank you, Noko. Oh, Maurice Howard. Thank you for checking us out, Maurice. We welcome you. We sure do. But I like the interaction. I love. When you guys, if you have questions, if you like to put a question up, that's fine too. So, but not taking people for granted is something that I think needs to be addressed. needs to be addressed. As we know, there is a two-party system. There are, I think it's like 8 other parties that we don't talk about, but people don't realize those lesser parties bring issues to the table that the two parties, they kind of absorb into their agenda. They're not as obvious and not as out there, but they're there, like the Green Party, the Independent Party. There's other parties, but they're definitely there that people can associate with. But decline to state, that's big. So you're saying if everybody did that, people aren't going to do that though. I just don't know that as a block we would do it and say we're just going to decline. We're not saying we're for either party.
Correct.
But that would be huge if people did.
It would.
Good. Oh no, it would. It would change a lot of things.
Right.
I don't know.
We would have to change. The politicians. I understand the people like myself. We have to choose a party, right? We have to choose a party. But if you're not running for office, you don't have to choose a party. You make that party vie for your vote. You make them do something for your vote. Like I'm out there working. I'm actually out there working and setting up stuff for the homeless programs. So we have to do that. If I could just wave my magic wand and change everybody to decline the state and make everybody vie for our vote. Hey, I'm going to Mary D's house. What are you? Oh, she's declined the state. Well, I don't know where she stands. You sure don't. That means you're going to have to work for her vote. You guys get it? You're going to have to work for her vote.
I do.
It's not an automatic.
I think it's a good idea. That's the first time I've heard it, though. So I think it's a really good idea because without a doubt, I know for a fact our people that take our vote for granted. We never miss an election. We always vote. So I think the last time somebody came by our house has been about 10 years ago that the person running knocked on our door, at least 10 years ago. Because they automatically assume that, we're kind of like robots. We're like, right. They're going to vote. So right. I'm pretty sure.
I'm just going to follow this ticket or this elephant, this donkey down the line. Well, if you decline the state, they can't take that anyway. Like I can't. It's like, okay, this person's declined the state. Or I have to go knock on their door and see what they think.
Yeah. Or at least try to, show them what I'm offering. So why I'd like for them to vote for you instead of taking it for granted. I like that. I have to definitely, I guess I have to go to register of voters and change it.
Yep, that's all you have to do. That's all anybody has to do. Go to register of voters, go online. You don't even have to go. Just go online and just change. Right. Okay. If you're San Bernardino County, Riverside County, Sonoma County, Shasta County, I don't care where y'all. Just go to register our vote and go online and change it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know because I will start going in and telling people about that and using some of
Takes you 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
That's good. Okay. For me, I can only speak for me. For me, it's done. Now, I don't know about other people, but I definitely see the benefits of that and being taken for granted. That I do see because I do know that I'm pretty sure that my elected officials have taken my vote for granted. They've automatically assumed I'm going to vote just because I'm an African-American female, this, that, and the other. We're like, we know how, like you said, we know how she's going to vote. No, I don't want to be that transparent. So
there you go.
I think I'm going to do that for the next
one. Right. I got one down. I got 39 more million to go.
You convinced me. I'm going to tell you.
One down, 39 million to go.
I would think it just makes so much sense. It really does. And make people work for it. And it's funny. I will bet on the next go round, there will be people knocking at the door. Are interested in telling me why I should vote for them. That's what happened, I think. But I get so much mail during the elections too. My goodness, it's so much that comes that that's overwhelming. Let me just say that. But I just learned. But what we do is so interesting. My husband and I, we sit down and read every single thing. Even we may even know the person that's running. We still read every single piece of literature, every single, the booklets, the whole nine. Because we want to be informed. We want to know what's going on. So
there was 14 propositions on the ballot this year. So, good luck. I would say good luck. It's over, but that was like crazy.
It was grueling. And
Mm-hmm.
we had people, we were looking at the League of Women Voters. We went, they had a workshop. We listened to them. We had other people. So, and then what's interesting, you have people that were opposed that you're listening to, and they're opposing the, different propositions, and they both sound reasonable. It wasn't.
Right.
I'm serious. That's what I noticed. It was like, which one do you choose? Because this one sounds right. This one sounds right. You just don't know. I'm gonna tell you, it really was. And many times in this select, it was a toss up. That's how I felt about it. You just couldn't tell. But then I noticed too, if the proposition doesn't win, it'll come back in another form at the next go round. They'll reword it.
Right.
Don't they have
Learn
to get
from your mistakes.
don't they have to get like 300,000
signatures
before they can put it on the ballot?
Right, something like that, some number like that. I can't tell you for sure, but it's a big number.
And so 14 of them made it with that 300,000.
Yeah, that's how many propositions were on the ballot this time around. It was a lot.
Oh, Councilman-elect Damon, do find a conflict of interest trying to get Black people involved in the community? Do people say you are showing favoritism? I don't know if that was for you.
That's my fraternity brother, Rich. No, it is not showing favoritism to educate, Brother Nicholas. This is when you educate if you educate the body only gets better. The body is composed of, African Americans, Europeans, Asians. Everybody is composed of the body. So when we educate one part of the body, all we do is make it stronger. That's all we do.
Well,
so
that's
not a conflict of interest.
Richard is on a show after this show at 2:00. He has a show that's on.
Okay.
And I saw.
I'm waiting, Brother Richard, to get on your show too, so I can really shoot you the straight shot.
He don't worry. I'm pretty sure he's going to be asking you. I don't doubt that. Not one bit. Well, then I know that before we run out of any time. Oh, this is Food Violence Prevention Service. Please contact Utini Speaks in San Bernardino, Marcus Woods, or Gloria Alma, 909-771-3351. Let me say that again, 909-771-3351. Keep that up for a second. Trust, verify. Okay. No on Proposition 20, yes on 17, but big victory for CSS survivors. Oh, okay. All right then, thank you. I tell you, Noko, you be on it, girl. I know too, you have, now is there a philosophy that you live by, Councilman-elect?
Yeah, there are a few. My family's from Texas, so we got a lot of sayings from Texas. And every time I get close to the border of Texas, I slip back into my family accent.
Draw, that southern draw. Yeah,
I do. We're from all over Houston, San Antonio. My mom's from My mom was born in El Paso. Dad was born in Sherman, Texas. So, there's one thing that I always say: don't let anyone steal your joy. That is one. That's an old one.
Yeah.
That's an old one. But like I said at the beginning, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. I believe in that.
I do too.
I do a lot, but like scripture, I keep going back to the scripture. Too much is given, much is required.
Right.
And that's why I'm here. I always go back to scripture because that's the foundation of which I am.
Right.
My great-great-grandfather was a Reverend T.J. Alexander back in Texas, Center, Texas. So he founded a church out there called Progressive Missionary Baptist Church. So I always have to go back to the roots. So that's where I stand. And I got a few other ones, but we can't say them on television.
Okay, then we won't do that then. If you say it, we can't say it, then I know we can't say it.
we can't say it on television. Those were the time back in the Marine Corps, so that they come with a few other things. So, but
okay, some spicy things on the end.
Yeah, some spicy things.
Okay, No, we can't. No, this, even though it's the internet, the answer is no.
Right.
But I would. I want to tell you that you have been a wonderful guest today. We have really, truly enjoyed you presenting and telling, and I'm just sharing on the 16th. For those people that would like to go, oh, we can't go to your swearing in, huh? Because of COVID.
It'll be on Zoom. If you go to City of San Bernardino, click the agenda part. It will be it'll be there, 5 o'clock. And
okay.
Yep, 5 o'clock.
So people can support you there. I don't know
Right.
if everybody got that. You go to the City of San Bernardino.
Click on agenda, then you click on City Council, and then you'll see the swearing in part.
Okay, I saw that, Jerry. Jerry said, "Leave Texas alone." Did you see her? She's one of the Divine Nine too. There's Jerry.
Right. Okay.
I'm from Dallas. Jerry. Just says, "Don't let anyone take the J out of your joy."
Right.
Oh, I like that. Yes. Don't mess with. Oh, you see the signs on the way into Texas. Don't mess with.
Right. Don't mess with Texas.
I tell you.
Don't mess with Texas.
No, I don't plan on messing with Texas. One, that's for sure. But I know too. Let me ask you this: have you written a book, or you ever considered writing a book?
This book I'm trying to write now, but I'm just going to try to find a time. It's called Two Worlds, because I remember I was on a Zoom call, and I was trying to share with my European cousins. I'm like, we have to live in two worlds. Yep. They're like, what are you talking about? We come back home, and we live in our world. When we go to work, we live in your world. And they didn't really get that. I said, yeah, I have one of my sayings. Go. What is it? Don't have to be. When I go to Rome, I don't have to be a Roman, because we go to, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, but you don't have to be a Roman. So when we go to Rome, we do what the Romans do, but we don't have to be a Roman. And so that's living in two worlds. We live in two worlds.
We do. And we speak two different languages too.
We pronounce our E's and our R's. And when we come back home,
it's another language.
Right.
It is. And like, I remember when I noticed the difference. I don't think I really did for a long time, and went to a function at one of my children's schools. And I was speaking to the principal, but my father was behind me, but he had his back to me. And so I finished, and I'm talking, and we're walking to the parking lot. And then I'm talking to my dad, and he said, if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't have known who was talking to the it was like, that's the difference in how, like you said, I was in two different worlds. I went to the professional world, and then I turned and went to my family world in literally a split second. So I was being, you could say, bilingual or bicultural in that.
Right. That's the name of the book, Two Worlds.
I like it.
I just got to get the subtitle, Two Worlds, Living in Two Worlds, or something like that. But it's going to be something Two Worlds. So
you started it?
We've got like 3 pages. Just like I said, it's finding the time now because of the election, all that kind of stuff. Time is now shrinking. So
yes,
but we're working on it. I really like it.
I like the title, by the way. And I know you probably didn't know I publish books also.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying that because just the title alone is crazy. Bipolar world. It is, Hinoko. But this is the world you know what? And we didn't choose this world. That's another thing. If you think about it, we didn't choose it. It's just the world that we had. This is the world we have. And we're making the best because this is it. For generations, we've been here now. So it's not like, but we didn't choose to come. But that's the reality. But I would highly suggest I could tell you how to write the book, but I don't want to give you the coaching right now. Because I am definitely all about writing. I'm definitely all about books. And I truly believe that it's a legacy that we're leaving to our children when we write books. And then in my books, I've dedicated them to my family. Some families already passed on. I've dedicated to them. I've dedicated to my grandkids. I dedicated one book to my husband. So I'm telling you, writing the books is just something that you want to do because you have so much to offer. You have so much to give. And if, like you said at the very beginning, we have to write it down. we have to write it down. There's really no other way. How are we going to pass it on to the next generation?
Right.
Yeah. And I know time is short for you right now, but at the same time, we got to figure out how to get that book in there.
Well, please help me. I'll accept any help.
I will. I can help you do it. I'm gonna tell. we can have that book, because there's so many nuggets that people need to hear and need to be able to refer back to when you're writing. And really, writing is therapeutic for the people that don't know it. It is definitely therapy when you're able to put your ideas down and organize them. I just can't even explain to you what it does for me to get everything. And a lot of my books are children's books, but I still, I get a lot of feedback on that. People still like that too. But your book is more of reality, nonfiction. So I would highly, highly encourage you, because you're talking about too, living in corporate. You were in the corporate world. You've been in the military. That's another world. All of these things are added together. Yes, she can. Oh, okay. Thank you, Henrietta. So, but I don't want to let you leave without saying thank you. And let me ask you this: will you come back again?
Absolutely. And before I get off this show, I would be remiss if I did not shout out to my lovely wife, Felicia, founder of the San Bernardino Turkey Trot. She is the reason why I'm sitting, and that councilman-elect is right here more than anybody else. When I was tired, beat up, couldn't take no more of the haters, all that and then some, I came home to her. And so my wife gets the biggest bouquet of roses I can give to her right now, and all the love and I could give. Alicia Alexander deserves. So I just want to say that right now on camera to the million plus that are listening.
I appreciate that. And when you said that, it made me, and those people that some of you know my husband, some of you don't. His name is Oliver. Oh, she's even more honoring your queen. Isn't that beautiful? And I'd have to say hello and thank you to my husband. Many they never see my husband. I have heard people say, "Are you married?" So I've been married almost 20 years. Because my husband's in the background. You really the one that set all the lighting up in this room is my husband. Doesn't he's my rock. He is the person I go to. Do you say yay, Felicia?
Yeah, because she's a Delta. That's why he said that.
Is that?
She's a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
All right now. All right. Then she knows I know a lot of her sorors, I'm sure. But his name is Oliver. And so those of you that don't know him, his name is Oliver Welch. And you may never, ever see him. But when this camera cuts off, that's whose arms I go into. That's who keeps me going. And you bounce everything off, like you said, for your wife is for you. We really couldn't do what we're doing without them. And I don't know your wife, but like you said, you wouldn't be where you are without her. So she is your rock. She's the one that, when you don't want to keep going, you have to. She's like, no. We can go one more day. We can do one more door, and without a doubt, it makes a difference. Oh, thank you, Oliver. I know. Thank you, Henrietta. I know Oliver appreciates that. I just want to thank you again, and I appreciate you. And we're looking forward to big things from you. I know there's your support. I've heard so many people say so many good things about you, and they're so happy for you. Congratulations goes up more than you could ever know. And telling you that, you know what, this is just the beginning of your political. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Okay. Let's keep going and keep representing. And thank you for spending this hour with us.
Thank you so much, Mary D. I appreciate you for having me on the show. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our show for today. We're down to just a few minutes, down to a few seconds here, really. Thank you for coming on. Next week, next Monday, we have Arlen Thompson. Arlen Thompson will be, you're welcome. That's my husband. Arlen Thompson will be the next guest on our show next Monday. If you're on the email list, you'll get an email and you'll see, it'll have the links on it. If you're on the texting, you'll get a text message. Some of you are on both, so you get the email and the text, and we do appreciate that. We thank you for your support, for everything you saw running by there at the bottom. We do appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye, everybody.